start the sharing also. So think about if you'd like to be the first reader, and just raise your hand for the first reader. We're on page 1. The history of this ritual. Okay, Maddie, I see. Linda, I think you're unmuted. Go ahead.
Yes, I just unmuted Linda.
Okay, the 15th day of the month of Shevat is the new year for the trees. The sap has risen after the winter rains, and the fruit trees are beginning to flower. The almond is the first tree to blossom in Israel, the promise of renewed life. Today, this holiday becomes a day of commitment to protecting the environment, knowing we are partners with God. It is in our hands to save our planet.
Amen. Thank you. And I'm going to share the Midrash. When God created the first human beings, God led them around the garden and said, "Look at my works, how beautiful they are. Now all that I have created, I created for your benefit. Think upon this and do not spoil or destroy my world. For if you destroy it, there is no one to restore it after you." A beautiful Midrash. And I'd like us to say before the next reader, I've been doing a lot of background reading on Tu B'Shvat Seder. And one of the things that we need to know is this Seder actually originated, it says, in the 16th century, but it came out of what happened in the 15th century, 1492, besides Columbus sailing the ocean blue, there was the expulsion from Spain and later the expulsion from Portugal. And there was a sense of exile and chaos in the world. And the Kabbalists also were part of an exiled group who went to Israel. So this notion of chaos and exile, there was a yearning and a desire to find a closeness to God and feel what this universe meant. Like, what was this all about, all this evil and upsetness? And how can we make things more in harmony and feel more of the presence of God? So with that, somebody volunteer for reader number 2, and we'll continue.
I will. Oh.
Just raise your hand and Maddie will call your name and you'll unmute.
Unmuted, Tonia.
Okay. In the 16th century, the Kabbalists in Safed also wanted to protect the earth and devised the idea of 10 Sephirot as a symbol for the tree of life. Each person embodies this divine tree. Each one of us has the potential for improving the world. And because humans are associated with trees, we can affect the world by eating certain symbolic foods and drinking wine. These rituals can bring the world toward wholeness and healing.
Thank you. We continue. Next reader.
Ella.
Hi. The famous mystic Rabbi Isaac Luria explained that the world is broken and needs healing. The Kabbalists said our mission was to do tikkun olam, repairing and fixing the world. We do this through self-reflection, good deeds, and observance of Jewish values.
Thank you. Next reader.
Linda, please.
To help effect Tikkun Olam, the Kabbalists created a Tu B'Shvat Seder, loosely modeled after the Passover Seder. It involved drinking 4 cups of wine, representing the 4 worlds of creation, and eating 10 different fruits and nuts, representing the 10 Sephirot emanations, through which the divine flow of goodness and blessing comes into this world.
Thank you. We turn to page 2. In the Bible, we read, and this is from the book of Job, there is hope for a tree. If it is cut down, it will renew itself. Its shoots will not cease. If its roots are old in the earth and its stump dies in the ground, at the scent of water, it will bud and produce branches like a sapling. Very hopeful. So we invite Cindy now to join us and lead us in "O Lord, prepare me." And then we'll go right to 2 Ki Tavo. And again, the Kabbalists sang, read different rabbinic texts, and drank and ate just like we are today.
O Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. And with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Oh Lord, prepare me to be sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. And with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Everybody, let's try it. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. And with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. When you come to the land of Israel and plant trees, then the trees and the soil will give forth their abundance. Ki tavo el haaretz, unetatem kol eitz tchila, venatan haetz pirio, vehaaretz yivula, et lintoa ilanot, et lintoa ilanot, et lintoa velivnot. Ki tavo el haaretz unetatem kol eitz tchila venatan haetz pirio vehaaretz yevula et lintoa ilanot et lintoa ilanot et lintoa velivnot. Ki tavo el haaretz unetatem kol eitz tchila venatan haetz pirio vehaaretz yevula et lintoa ilanot et lintoa ilanot et lintoa velivnot.
Thank you, Cindy. I'd like us each now to just take a deep cleansing breath. Try one on your own. And let's try a second one together. Breathing in, count to yourself three times, 3 seconds. Hold for 3 seconds. And let it out slowly for 3 seconds. And you see a picture on the right-hand side. And rather than be here in our room with our Zooms, let's use our imagination and be where that woman is sitting by a tree. And if you were sitting there, would there be a breeze on your face? Would you smell flowers or just the greenery? Would you see a butterfly? Are there birds chirping? And now let's read together, all of you from home together, Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav meditation about being outdoors. Grant me the ability to be alone. May it be my custom to go outdoors each day among the trees and grasses, among all growing things. And there may I be alone and enter into prayer to talk with the one to whom I belong. We continue now on the third page. We need a reader, so raise your hand and Maddie will call on you.
Simona.
We pause now just for a minute
to prepare ourselves for the journey we are beginning. We stop and breathe and notice what we are doing, how we are feeling, what this moment is like. In a moment, we will eat fruits and drink wine or juice, each symbolic of some holy element in our lives.
Thank you. Next reader.
Lee.
That is why before eating each fruit, it is proper to meditate on the meaning of each fruit in order to make this moment meaningful. Let us each take the time to smell before we eat and drink, to experience the texture of the fruit before we chew, to savor the taste before we swallow.
And next reader.
Sarah.
By eating and drinking with kavanah, intention, making our consumption an act of deep appreciation for and connection with the natural world, we help to heal the world from its forgetfulness.
Thank you, Sarah. And I'd like to add, I read that, and I have not verified this, that we have 32 teeth in our mouths, and the word for one of God's names is Elohim, which adds up to 32. So the idea of bringing God into our lives is also involving our teeth, chewing. So another reason why the Kabbalah said you can eat and drink, and especially chewing, because it's another way of bringing God in, which I think is great. So let's see if we could really use this time for eating with intention, with kavanah. We're ready for our first cup of wine. It represents there's 4 cups, modeled after the Passover Seder, as we read, and there's 4 seasons. The first cup is white, which is the winter time, which is when things are dormant and the earth is frozen. And it also represents, in the Kabbalistic world, there's 4 different worlds: the world of asiyah, of doing. The furthest away from God, it's the world of action and our being in presence and doing in the world. So we'll continue now with the reader, and then we'll say the blessing. Cindy will lead us over the first cup of wine. Reader.
Carrie.
The first cup of wine is pure white, like winter. It represents the beginning, the time when creation began, the separation of light from darkness. The seedling is compared to the first light, a spark of creation which contains within it the potential to become a tree. As you drink this white wine/juice, we note that nature has been dormant and is awaiting the warmth of the spring for its annual renewal of life.
Thank you, Carrie. So let's take our cup of white wine, and Cindy, please lead us in the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
And let's all say L'chaim.
L'chaim.
And we continue now on page number 4. We're ready to eat the first fruits and nuts, hard on the outside and edible in the inside. The outside with the hardness is the impure, the klipot, the parts in our world that become schmutzed. The world gets covered over from holiness. So we need to peel back these hardness, the klipot, in order to enter into the world of holiness. We're also in the world of asiyah, the world of action in the realm of the physical. In this world of work and activity, our spiritual selves require protection and nurturing. This is similar to the shell protecting the fruit growing inside. We eat these fruits and nuts, peeling back or cracking open the protective layers so we can enjoy the ripened fruit. When we are safe and strong, we too can reveal our vulnerable inner hearts. So I have personally here, I have a banana to peel, and I also have an orange. So why don't you pick up whatever fruits you have that have an inedible outside, nuts or fruits, and Cindy will lead us in the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'etz.
Amen. And let's all take time to savor what we're eating. Again, mindful eating, chewing, eating slowly. It's not about finishing what's on your plate. It's savoring each bite. When Cindy is finished savoring, she'll lead us in the almond tree. Hashkedia Paracha.
We'll sing it in English and in Hebrew, starting with the Hebrew. השקטי הפורחת ושמש פזורחת, ציפורים מראש כל גג מבשרות את בוא החג. ט"ו בשבט הגיע, חג האילנות. ט"ו בשבט הגיע, חג האילנות. The almond tree is growing, a golden sun is glowing. Birds sing out in joyous glee from every roof and every tree. ט"ו בשבט הגיע, חג האילנות. 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 In Hebrew, השקדיה פורחת ושמש פזורחת, ציפורים מראש כל גג מבשרות את בוא החג. ט"ו בשבט הגיע, חג האילנות. ט"ו בשבט הגיע, חג האילנות. ט"ו בשבט הגיע, חג האילנות. ט"ו בשבט הגיע, חג האילנות.
Thank you, Cindy. Now, though I know it's just 12 o'clock during the day, we are celebrating a beautiful holiday. So if you're drinking your wine, you might want to drink a little more of the white wine because it's time to add some red. This represents springtime. So the pink of spring, and I'm adding a little red wine to my white. We don't want it to be too red, so keep it a little bit in a Zinfandel mode. This second cup represents the world of formation, heart and feelings, beginning of growth, more receptiveness to the Almighty. So we bring in this, drink the second cup of wine, which is pink. It's like the flowers that blossom, the pink flowers that are now coming out. So we continue now on page number 5. Hold up your cup of wine with a little red, and Cindy will lead us in the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
And again, l'chaim.
L'chaim.
I don't know what our sommeliers will say if you're drinking a good white and a good red to mix them together, but I don't think the Kabbalist's worried about that. So we're ready now for the second fruits. These are the ones that are edible on the outside and yet still retaining the pit, the hard part on the inside. The Kabbalists say we've peeled back some of the klipot, the impure, and yet to protect the divine, we still have a pit inside. We're still protecting something within, and we're not close enough to God to be totally revealed. Can we have a reader now?
Hannah, if you would, please.
Where it says it is spring.
It is spring. As it warms outside, we no longer need our protective layers. These fruits remind us, though, that we may still have hardness around our hearts, protecting our divine sparks. The olive tree is a sign of hope that after destruction, life can be restored. May our closed, hard hearts be open to the needs of ourselves and others, allowing the warmth of our care into the world. May our heart pits crack open with flowers and give new life.
Thank you. So find one of the fruits you have with the pit. I have an avocado and I cut a piece of avocado. Hold up your second fruit and Cindy will lead us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'etz.
Amen. And again, mindful eating. I'm missing my mindfulness retreat this year. It will be on Zoom. It's not the same, as we all know. But breakfast and lunch were done in silence. And you'd sit at the table, everybody chewing slowly, eating with kavanah. It was a whole new experience. We're going to continue in a moment with our next song. The righteous shall flourish like a date palm tree and grow like a cedar in Lebanon. So many of you know that quote, and of course we know this wonderful song, Tzaddik Tamar, that the rabbis ask, why are the righteous compared to these trees? In the majority of trees, even after they are cut down, a sprout might grow again, but the palm and the cedar do not sprout. And who could make others grow in their stead, except after many years and much labor? So too, when a righteous person leaves the world, who can stand up in their stead, except after many years? And this is why the righteous are compared to the palm tree and the cedars. We're going to sing now Tzaddik Tamar, which is the Hebrew for these verses. Cindy.
And you can dance too, Robin. Tzaddik Tamar yifrach yifrach, Tzaddik Tamar yifrach, Tzaddik Tamar yifrach yifrach, Tzaddik Tamar yifrach. Ke'eres balvanon yiske, ke'eres balvanon yiske, ke'eres balvanon yiske yiske. Ke'eres balvanon yiske, ke'eres balvanon yiske, ke'eres balvanon yiske yiske. Tzaddik Tamar yifrach yifrach, Tzaddik Tamar yifrach, Tzaddik Tamar yifrach yifrach, Tzaddik Tamar yifrach. Ke'eres balvanon yiske, ke'eres balvanon yiske, ke'eres balvanon yiske yiske. Ke'eres balvanon yiske, ke'eres balvanon yiske, ke'eres balvanon yiske yiske.
Thank you, Cindy. We turn now to page number 6. We're ready for our third cup of wine. And we add a little more red to make it a little bit darker. We move from spring into the late spring and summer. And fruit like strawberries ripen, poppies are around. Some of you have gone to see the poppy fields here in California. Red poppies and wildflowers. There is hopefulness. This activity is breaking through the boundaries. Refructification, it's called in some of the books. So where the world is coming back alive again. It's the world of creation, of thought and knowing. And we filled our cup, and Cindy will lead us now with our little bit more red for the third blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
L'chaim. I think I'm getting a little buzz. We continue now with the eating the entire edible fruits. Figs, grapes, berries, raisins. I have a lot of berries here personally, also an apple. In this world of creation, God's protection is close, and we can let go of all the barriers, outside or inside, and we can try on our freedom. We do not need our shells or the stones we carry inside. As co-creators and partners with God, our thoughts can become action and lead to tikkun olam, repairing the world. The fig is mentioned 16 times in the Bible and symbolizes an era of peace and security. The rabbi asks why words of Torah are compared to a fig tree. They answered, since all the figs do not ripen at the same time, the more one searches the tree, the more figs you will find. And so too it is with Torah. The more we study, the more sweet morsels we find. And those of you who study Torah know that every year, more and more, it's like eating more delicious figs. So pick up, I'm going to pick up my strawberry, pick up whatever you have that's edible on the outside and inside. Cindy will lead us in the bracha.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri ha'etz.
Amen. When we unmute and talk a little later, I'd like to hear some reactions to mindful eating. Our song for the third cup of wine and the third fruit is Adama V'Shamayim. Cindy.
Adama v'shamayim, earth and sky. Chom ha'esh, the warmth of the fire. Tzlil hamayim, the ringing sound of the water. I feel this. Ani margish zot begufi, in my body. Beruchi, in my spirit. V'nishmati, and in my soul. Adama v'shamayim. Chom ha'esh, tzlil hamayim, ani margish zot begufi, beruchi v'nishmati. Adama v'shamayim, chom ha'esh, tzlil hamayim, ani margish zot begufi, beruchi v'nishmati. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Adama v'shamayim, chom ha'esh, tzlil hamayim, ani margish zot begufi, beruchi v'nishmati. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Adama v'shamayim, chom ha'esh, tzlil hamayim, ani margish zot begufi, beruchi v'nishmati.
Oh, I wish I was dancing with Robin right now. Before we
I
go
wish we could
to
see
the fourth
Robin.
cup, we are going to do our breakout rooms right now. We'll have a chance to talk to one another. Maddie's going to put up the directives for the breakout room. And I'll start reading it as she puts it up. So discuss which type of fruit you feel you are. So 1, are you hard on the outside, protecting yourself from pain, discomfort, loss, or even truth? If this is you, how do you get through these outer barriers to actually nourish your inner self? Do you really need these layers, or can you start to peel them away? Number 2, are you soft on the outside and hard with a pit inside? Do you appear to be open, yet inside you are holding on and you're closed up? In what way does this protect you? Are you able to crack open that pit and bring renewed life and find unexpected vulnerability and joy. And number 3, completely edible fruits, no protective layer outside or hard pits inside. When do you feel this way? Does it serve you? Can it be sustainable? Which fruit do you identify with the most? So we're going to break out. You can use this as a guideline for the discussion group, just reflect on it or just share some thoughts. But you're feeling, I'd like to also add that this is so relevant today as yesterday, President Biden signed beautiful executive orders for climate and improving the oh, I think I had too much wine. Anyhow, so helping to make our earth a little bit more hospitable and healthier. So we'll break out now. Maddie's going to put us in breakout groups, and we'll be back in about 8 to 10 minutes.
I'm going to send you all off into breakout rooms. I think you know the drill by now. Don't touch anything. You'll be automatically whisked away. After 7 minutes, there'll be a 1-minute countdown timer on your screen. Please stay in your rooms, finish your discussion, wait for the timer to reach 0, and then you'll automatically be brought back into this room here. So have a great conversation and see you soon.
Of page 7.
So people aren't all totally back yet, Rabbi.
Okay.
Looks like everyone is back from the rooms, Rabbi.
Okay. So let's continue. We're on the top of page number 7, and we're ready for our 4th cup of wine, which still has a little white, but which now is pretty much red. It's the 4th world, a season of the fall. So it represents dark red leaves. It's the world of Atzilut, the world of emanation, fire and spirit. It's the spiritual world, and it's the world that's the closest to God, where we feel God's presence and we could be one with God. And since it's such a spiritual world, we don't need any physicality, so there's no foods here. You can eat the rest of your foods later. Let's have another reader for page 7, where it says, just as the natural world.
Unmuting Barbara Brown.
Just as the natural world goes, oh wait, am I unmuted? Yes.
Yes.
Just as the natural world goes through changes to achieve its full potential, we also need to change so that we can feel free to grow. When we do so, we will become strong like healthy trees with solid roots in the ground and our arms open to the love that is all around us.
Amen. And before we drink now, I think a little stretching. Why don't we just all open our arms to the love that is all around us right now? Ah, feels so good. I miss doing the stretching in Lev Eisha. All right. We could all be a tree. Cindy, what a nice tree you are, all stretched out here.
I have a lot of tree songs for the children.
I know, the be a tree songs. Okay, let's hold up the 4th cup of wine. Cindy, please lead us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
And someone who likes to read poetry. It's such a beautiful poem by Mary Oliver. Let's have a reader.
Unmuting Pamela.
Okay.
And it says the host, okay, the host unmuted you was covering the poem. When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, especially the beech, the oaks, the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me, and daily. I am so distanced from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment, and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me the trees stir in the leaves and call out, stay a while. The light flows from their branches and they call again. It's simple, they say, and you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light and to shine.
I just want us to sit here for a moment with this thought. again, you keep hearing that while we're in this confinement and lockdown, although things are unlocked for a while, hopefully forever, that we're supposed to have more self-reflection and get to know ourselves better. And I don't want any of us to beat ourselves up if we haven't really done that. But it is simple. Stay a while. And sometimes you just sit still and maybe a smile comes. Maybe you take your deep breaths and maybe you can feel peaceful and know that you know how to give love and you certainly can receive love too. Advice from a tree: stand tall and be proud. Go out on a limb. Remember your roots. Drink plenty of water. Be content with your natural beauty. Enjoy the view. Tu Bishvat. This is it. Sums up our beautiful Seder today. And our last song is the beautiful Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav thoughts and teachings put into words and melody by Debbie Friedman. And we'll mute and we'll join in. And afterwards, Maddie will unmute us and we'll have a time to schmooze a little and say goodbye. So glad you all joined us today. Page number 8, You Are the One.
You are the one, for this I pray, that I may have the strength to be alone, to see the world, to stand among the trees and all the living things, that I may stand alone and offer prayers and talk to you. You are the one to whom I do belong. And I'll sing my soul, I'll sing my soul to you, and give you all that's in my heart. May all the foliage of the field, all grasses, trees, and plants awaken at my coming, this I pray, and send their life into my words of prayer, so that my speech, my thoughts, and my prayers will be made whole, and through the spirit of all growing things. And we know that everything is one, because we know that everything is you. You are the one, for this I pray. I ask you, God, to hear my words that pour out from my heart. I stand before you. I, like water, lift my hands to you in prayer. And grant me strength, to stand alone. You are the one to whom I do belong. And I'll sing my song, I'll sing my soul to you, and give you all that's in my heart. You are the one, for this I pray, and I'll sing my soul to you. Chag Sameach.
That was beautiful. We haven't sung that song in a long time. So let's all, Maddie, let everybody unmute. I'm going to go in gallery view and call out to each other. Say hello.
Hi
Please
there.
unmute yourself.
Hi there, Rabbi August. I have a comment to make.